everyone, today I am going to do a quick somewhat poppable carry that I really like to do, especially during when the weather gets a little bit colder and you don't want to be messing around with wraps when you're getting out to go to grocery stores and stuff like that. So you can actually put this on before you even get in the car, or it's actually not too hard to do in the car itself. So you can even do it in driver's side and just kind of maneuver the wrap around you and get it in as well. It's gonna be called a robins with a ring. So you are going to need one sling ring. Depending on the size of your wrap, you're going to use either a medium or a large. I pretty much always use large sling rings for pretty much any woven wrap carry. And I have a size 5 wrap, which is like a base -1 for me. You can do it anything from a base -1, base -2. Sometimes you can even get away with a base -3 and just not have the crisscrossing passes that'll go under baby's legs and tie around in the back. You can just tie under the bum depending on the size of the wrap that you use. So what I'm going to do is start by finding my middle marker, and I'm going to go about almost like an arm's length out. So if I put the middle marker up, it's going to be almost an arm's length out is where I kind of like to start out. And then I just kind of hold that so that way I remember where I'm at. And you can also go through and do like a slow gather just to kind of keep track of your rails if you want to do it that way as well. And then just kind of keep a hold of that in one hand. So with the other hand, I'm going to ring my ring through here. And I'm going to end up with one shorter tail and one longer tail. So after I get it in my sling ring, I'm just going to kind of let it hang down. And my shorter rail is going to go on this bottom side. And I'm just going to make sure that I can find all of my edges and rails. So I've got that all kind of nice and straight, and I'm just going to kind of make sure it's laying a little bit flat, and I'm just going to kind of flip it, put it up over my shoulder about where corsage level would hit. So sort of like on a regular ring sling would sort of work from here. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to reach around behind me, make sure I'm finding that inner back side, the shorter rail, and I'm going to bring that around me just like a sling pass would be. And I am going to pass that in and through my sling ring. And I feel like I don't have quite enough tail, so if you get this far and realize you don't have quite enough tail, if you're just tying under the bum, you don't need a whole lot, but it seems how I use longer than a base size wrap, I am going to adjust my tails a little bit. So if you need to do that, you're just going to gently lift up on your top side here and just sort of scoot that fabric around, just sort of give you another starting point until I get it. What my goal is with this particular, so I'm going to take this rail, it's going to cross under baby's bum, and then I want to have enough room to tie off in the back. So I'm going to mess with it for just a second and get it loosened up to where I feel comfortable that I have enough room. So I'm also going to make sure that I'm keeping this straight, and I'm going to do it one more time. I usually do this with a different size wrap. So I don't use 5s a whole lot. 5s are my base -1, and I'm just not a super huge base -1 carry. Okay, so I think I've got it about where I want it now. So where I actually ended up is I have my middle marker pretty much almost on that bottom rail because I just saw it a second ago. So, okay, so sorry that took a little bit more setup than I expected here. I have now got that sling pass, and to make it semi-poppable, you're going to work with it kind of like you would a ring sling. So you can go ahead and just put your arm into the fabric and tighten up around your arm as needed. so you have about what you know baby's going to need. I'll work your arm back out. And so from here you can just do crisscross, tie off. So I'm just going to reach around behind me. So what I have done is I took, just to do it a little bit slower, top rail is going to go over, back rail is going to come around. So I've got an X right here, mostly on my hip, and I'm going to tie off either on the side or in the back depending on where your tails end up from there. So I leave it just a teeny bit loose, make it a little bit easier to work with. So I've got my double knot tied off now. Alright, so now I am just going to be able to use this a lot like a sling ring or a ring sling. And I'm going to take my baby and I'm just going to hold baby up onto my hip, and I am going to feed them down into that pouch and just work the pouch up and around them. And from here, work their legs. This top rail I'm going to move over, and this bottom rail I'm going to move to the other side, so that way there's that crisscross over under their bottom. We're going to adjust just a little bit. It's a little hard to see. So I just dropped them down into the pouch, and then I worked one rail to crisscross over one leg and the second rail to crisscross over the other leg. And I'm just going to work on getting any slack out as needed. So from here you pretty much got your poppable carry accomplished, and you can do this when you get out of the car, and then afterwards you're just going to reach back around and untie your knot and just tighten it up just a little bit more. So just kind of find, if you have slack right here, you're just going to feed it down to your, so if I have slack here, I'm going to feed it over and around to my sling ring and just kind of work out wherever my edge ended up here, and just kind of pull and tug it out, follow it around to my crisscross, pass it around, and once I have my slack worked back out, then I'm just going to retie, and everything will be, alright, so I just retied, and then I'm just going to adjust, and then you have, I lost my baby's face under his hat, but then you have a nice semi-poppable, comfy and quick, and it's good for nursing. If you're a breastfeeding parent too, then it's obviously fairly decent to nurse in because baby's sort of in that position. And because it is a hip carry, my baby's just a little bit wobbly for this, so you wouldn't want to do the true hip carry until the baby has decent head control, but you can still have the baby in this carry and just kind of shift it over so they're more in a front carry as well. So you can kind of do it either way. But that is a somewhat quick poppable Robins with a ring, and I hope you enjoy.